Getting started here. I'm going to share the video to the group. I'm hoping this works. Okay. Okay. I'm going to maybe get the light. Wait for a few people to pop on. Oh, here's Michaela. Hi, Michaela. Dottie. Hi, Aunt Dottie. There we go. We'll wait for a few people to come on and then we'll start. How is everybody doing today? How was the graduation party, Dottie? To see if I can see more people, if they're in the group. I can imagine it being hot. Super hot here today. It was over 90. Megan's on. Hi, Megan. Is anybody in the group watching? Or because I started on my business page and then shared it to the group, but I'm not 100% sure I can see comments from both groups. We have Sandy's mom's on here. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. I think I might be able to invite people. If you could share the video, that would be great. And I think if you share it from the business page, it can be public. If you share it from the group, you might not be, people might not be able to see it. I'll wait for just a couple more minutes. It's only 4:01. I got on a little bit early. Made a new shirt today. This is the convention logo for Tuesday. Megan says, I see the post in the Crafty Chemist group, but let me look in the other group. Oh, yeah. It's, it won't be in the shopping group if that's what you're talking about, the other group, because that doesn't start till Wednesday. I just meant on the business page, Crafty Chemist Designs. Darcy's watching too. He probably misses me. Okay, I'm gonna get this set up to look down over my project. So I'll see you at the end. If I can figure out how to, oh, here we go. I can flip it this way. Okay, sorry that wasn't probably super clean transition, but oh, I gotta do it this way. Should have practiced. There you go. It's right side up. Get a little bit closer. Okay, we'll get started. I am the Crafty Chemist, Maggie. You can purchase items from my Close to My Heart shop at thecraftychemist.closetomyheart.com. That's where you'll go if you want to purchase any of these items. If you go to my Facebook business page and like that, it's Crafty Chemist Designs, you'll see updates when I go live and so on. And my Facebook group is the Crafty Chemist Presents. That's my VIP group where, oh wait a minute, Megan, did you share that to the shopping group? We're not allowed to post there until Wednesday. It doesn't start till Wednesday, so. No, you're probably gonna get me kicked out of there. Let me see if it's in there before. Oh, okay, so you just made a comment. That's probably okay. I don't know. I think I'm gonna remove it just so I don't get in trouble since it doesn't start till Wednesday. Okay, Vicky joined. Hope everyone's doing okay. Let me see if I can. Michelle's having trouble. Oh, she joined. She finally joined. Okay, let me finish. If you join the Facebook group, the Crafty Chemist Presents, that's my VIP group where we share projects, ideas, along with any of the items that I create and show. And then I do have a blog, periodicallycrafty.blogspot.com. Not much is on there right now, but I'm planning to start building it up. Okay, So those are all of my sites. Check those out. So what we're going to be making today, let me lift this up, is this, this card. Here's an example that I made. It's a 3D pop-up card. It closes flat. I don't know if you can tell that it closes flat. You can put it in an envelope. If you have something puffy like this ribbon, it might be too bulky to go through the, machine. But if you don't put anything bulky, you can mail this, and I'll talk about how you can mail it. It's 6 by 6 as created. But then when you open it up, it pops up into this really pretty little pop-up card. Pop-up cards are really hot right now. The problem with most of them is that you can't mail them because they're too big and bulky, and they don't close down like this. So what's great about this card is that it does fold close, where you could put it in an envelope and mail it if you needed to. But I really liked it because it reminded me of opening it up and maybe having a bouquet of flowers, which is the design I'm going to do today, where it looks like you're opening it up and you have a big flower bouquet. A little bit higher. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. So I made this card with the Happiest Place collection. It's close to my heart's Disney collection, and you can see the paper that I used on the outside of the card has a gold or silver foil on it. It's very, very pretty, very shiny and pretty. So the Happiest Place collection comes in a paper pack like this. This is the Happiest Place collection with the sticker sheet. I already used a little bit to make that sample card. The good thing about Close to My Heart paper is that it is two-sided, and so you kind of get twice the bang for your buck, because you can use either side. So here's the paper that comes in the kit. I obviously use this piece for the inside of my card. Another part. We already saw this one. I really like this paper because it's like a sunburst. And the other side is confetti looking. And this one. And another good thing about this paper pack is that while it's their tribute to Disney, really, this paper can be used for anything, right? This doesn't say Disney on it, doesn't have any characters on it, so I think you could use it for a lot of different things. And then here was the sticker pack. Some of the stickers are the silver foil, and it's holographic, like there's a castle. And so I just chose some of the stickers from this sheet to use on the card. You can kind of see the balloons. I cut the balloons out, the heart, and even some sentiments. There are other parts to the Happiest Place collection. You could get the paper pack with the sticker sheet, The paper that I used on the outside with the silver foil is the coordinating cardstock. They have these acrylic shapes. So they're just little acrylic shapes that you can use to decorate it. I didn't put them on the outside of the card because I wanted to mail the card, but you could definitely decorate the outside with these. There is a digital set that you can get to cut out on a cutting machine like the Cricut. And then there's a stamp set. Here's the stamp set. And the designs that have the blue behind it also have the thin cuts. So it will cut the shape out for you using a cutting machine, like the Big Shot. You can also use these, if you stamp these pictures out, you could use this as your decoration also. Stamp them out onto some white cardstock, color them in, and put it on your card. This might be cute here to write happy birthday or the how old the person is, something like that. Here's the coordinating cardstock. And they all have the holographic foil. Well, most of them do. The stars, there are some plain, like this red, yellow. This is the red with the silver foil. There's black with silver foil, regular black, white with silver foil, yellow with stars, and that pale blue with stars. But today I am going to make my sample with this brush set. That's a little bit hard to say. With the brush set. This is a special from Close to My Heart called Bring Back My Set, because it was an older design that people liked so much and requested it being brought back. So this is the paper pack with the sticker sheet. So these are the stickers, and what's really good about Close to My Heart stickers is that they're very thick stickers. They're not thin, and they come on this nice heavy cardstock. So here's a sticker sheet. I'm going to choose items from here to decorate my pop-up card. Here's the some of the paper. This is the design I'm going to use for my card. And then there's another option. Okay, and the last one. Okay, let me take a minute to look at the comments. Chris wants to know if I could put a firecracker in there to make it pop. We can't put a real one, however, it does have the firework burst, so that would be really pretty. Just make all of these, right? Make different color fireworks, so when they open it up, it's like they're at a fireworks show. That would be really, really cute. What cutting machine do I use? To cut out the digital files, I have a Cricut Explorer, and then to cut out with the thin cuts. The thin cuts are these metal dies. With that, I use the Sizzix Big Shot. And so you can kind of see, if I would stamp home, I don't like to cut that out by hand. You just can use the thin cut, and it cuts it out for you in the machine. I'm not going to use that today, but it would be nice. see any other comments. Okay. So let's get started. Again, we're going to make this this card, but with a different set of paper and that. But it's going to look like this, and it's really easy. I know it looks a little bit complicated, but it's very easy. My mom made one the other day, and if she can do it, anybody can do it. Let me get organized here a little bit. Before I show the start the card, I also wanted to show some cards made with the brush set. So this brush set, I got the sticker pack and the paper pack, but there are 2 sets of stamps that go with this, and I have some cards here made with the stamp set. These are from one of my favorite designers, Michelle. And this card here is made with the called Budding Friendship stamp set. And I have a picture of it here. Let's see. This is the Budding Friendship stamp set. So you can see the butterfly is popped up on a pop dot, so it's raised up a little bit. And then there's some brushed paper being used. Oh, and then this one, I might have got it mixed up. This is the one that's using this is the Budding Friendship one with the stamps. The Budding Friendship with these stamps, and then that flower is here. And then this one uses the other set, Some Kind of Wonderful. Always be your own kind of wonderful. And that's this set. Okay. Let's get to making our card. So first you're going to need one 12 by 12 piece of solid cardstock. You could use printed, but you're going to be putting your other paper on top of it, so I would just use the solid cardstock. And what you're going to do is we need a scoring tool. Now I have a scoring tool for my cutter. You can take the cutting blade off and put in the scoring blade. And the scoring blade is black on here. And so when you use a scoring blade, it doesn't cut through the paper, it just, scores it and makes like a crease. So we're going to score your 12 by 12 paper along these dotted lines. So along the dotted lines here, 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 and here. Now if you think about it, in this card, you start with a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and you're cutting it, right, you're folding it into 4 pieces. So theoretically it should be 3 inches on each side. But you also need to have a little tab so that you can glue the pieces together. So they're just a little bit short of 3 inches. So it's actually at like 2 7/8 inch, because you'll end up with this half inch tab at the end to glue it together. So you're going to score here first, and that's at the 9 1/8 mark. So I'm going to take my cutter and my solid piece of paper, put it into my cutter, and the 1/8 is the, I don't know if I can zoom in really closely, but it's hard to do this here. So it's that line there, not the smallest one, but the next one, okay? This one here is the quarter, so you want the medium one, okay? So 9 1/8, and we're going to just score it there. And I do it a couple times to get the mark. And so I don't know if you can see there, but okay, you can kind of see it in that picture that it's scored. Now, if you don't have a scoring tool, which when I made my first one, I did not have a scoring tool, and what I did is I put my paper on the 9 1/8 mark, shut it down like this, and then I took a pointy tool like this, and just went down. I went down like this. You just have to be careful that you don't poke all the way through. So you have to put sort of a medium amount of pressure on it. So that's one way you can do it if you don't have a scoring tool. Another way is you can mark it with a ruler, and then you have to mark it on the top and bottom, and then kind of fold it up against the straight edge like this to kind of give it a little bit of a fold. So if you don't have a scoring tool, you still can do this. Yeah, if you are lucky enough like Vicki that has a scoring board, that's really easy. I don't have a scoring board, so I had to do it kind of this way. I have the scoring tool for, my cutter. So the next one you're going to do is at the 6 1/4. Okay, we're going to score at 6 1/4. So move your paper down to 6 1/4. The quarter is this line here. Okay, and then the next one is at 3 3/8. 3 3/8. Okay, so find the 3. Now on my cutter it's a little bit hard because the 3 is right in the crack here of where this arm comes out. So it's a little bit hard, but this line here is 3. 1/8 is that medium line, and then 2/8 is the quarter, and then 3/8 would be the next one. So it's the middle size line before the half mark. So I'm going to cut it right about here. If you're not sure, you can measure it. Okay, and so then the last one is you need to score at the 1/2 inch mark. Now it's easier to do it if you turn it around and use the markings on this side, because you'll be able to hold on to your paper a little bit better. So I turn it around and line it up with the 1/2 inch on this side and mark it here. Okay, so the first step is done. Number 1 is done. We have our 4 score marks here. Is everybody following along okay? Okay, so now for the next stage, we're going to turn the paper 90 degrees and then score on the dotted lines. So my paper is like this. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, so 1/4 of a turn, and then I'm going to score it at 9 inches and at 3 inches. Okay, so basically each side is just going to be 3 inches. Okay, so 3 inches on each side. So I put it on the 9, and I come here, make sure it's flat. Okay, I'm going to score here. Oh, Chris, I'm not going to be talking about the point groups. Although I will say my favorite point group is C2V. Okay, so now we have the 2 score marks on the 3 inches from each side. Okay, so we've done this. And we're almost done. Well, maybe not exactly, but. Okay, now the next part, you're just going to cut it in half at the 6-inch mark. And so you actually you can get 2 bases from one 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So I'm going to put my cutting blade back in, I'm going to take out my scoring blade, or scoring piece, and then put the cutting blade back in. If you're using your scoring board, then go to your cutter, and we're going to cut it at 6 inches right here. Okay. Okay, so now you should have two pieces of paper that are scored, into four pieces, and then you have the 1/2-inch tab on it. So next we're going to make the flap. So you have to cut off part of the flap, which is here. So we're going to cut away this part here and just leave this part here. That's the part that you're going to, when you fold them together, you're going to overlap that and glue it there. So we're going to take this and cut this off. It doesn't really matter, what this angle is. It can be, 45-degree angle or whatever. That's not very important. So I'm going to use my Creative Memories scissors that don't stick, so it's really nice. So, okay, here's my paper. You're looking where the 1/2-inch scoring mark is, and then cut. I'm just going to cut here, and then cut along your line there. You can use your trimming tool if you want to. Okay, so I have this cut off. And then you're going to cut off these flaps, because that's the top of the card that flips open. So you're going to cut along these 3 lines here. I'm going to use my trimmer to do that, but you can just use your scissors. It doesn't have to be perfect. And just cut right along the where the score is, but only go halfway down, right? Only go to the score mark. Okay. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so it should look like this. And now basically you have your base done. Let me see if there's any questions. Okay, doesn't seem to be any questions. Everybody keeping up? Following along? Give me a thumbs up or a heart or something if you're following along, okay? If I'm going too fast. I got a couple thumbs up there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to decorate the panels with the pattern paper. Okay, so we're going to put paper on each of the slots here, and you're going to put it on both sides. Okay, so let's get the pattern paper that we want to use. I had decided I was going to use this sheet because I really love these flowers, and since I'm going to make inside a bouquet, I think this will, help with that illusion. So this is going to go on the inside, and then I'm just going to use the same paper and use the back side. I'll just put this on the outside. That way I can make the whole card with just using 1 sheet of pattern paper. If you have 2 sheets of paper that you want to use, you just will have extra left over. So the each panel that you're going to cut is going to be in 2 5/8 across and 5 3/4 going this way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut at 5 3/4 on my first cut. Okay, so I'm going to take this pink paper. Hopefully you can see that okay. If you can see the whole paper, it's up as high as it goes on this stand. So I'm going to turn it this way because I want my panels I want the diamonds to be going up and down on my panel. So I'm going to cut it this way and go to 5 3/4. 5 3/4. So I'm going to cut right here at 5 3/4. And the 5 3/4 is this the relatively long line beside as close to the 6. Okay, so these are all 5 3/4 tall. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces that are 2 5/8 wide. So 2 5/8 wide. And 2 5/8. Let me see if I can make it go down closer for you. So the half mark here is 4/8, and so it's this middle line right between the half and the 3/4. So that's where I'm going to cut. 2 5/8, right? Yeah, 2 5/8. And then I cut four of these panels for this side. These are for the outside. And make sure you check each time so you don't accidentally cut the wrong thing. 4/8, 5/8. Okay, so I have my 4 panels that are all 2 5/8. And then you have this piece left over that you can use for something. This would be perfect for a card. Right? Just like Michelle's card, right? You can use it, scraps, to make great cards. Okay, so these are the pieces for the outside, and now I'm going to cut the pieces for the inside, and they're the same exact measurements, right? 5 3/4 long and 2 5/8 wide. So I'm going to cut my first one at 5 3/4. I have a little bit of a strip left over. I could see adding this, as a strip down a scrapbook layout or something. Or you could make a couple cards out of this. One good thing about Creative Memories paper also is that, it's hard to tell on this, but this kind of candy stripe, diagonal stripes here, is the zip strip that has the product information on it. But you can see the back side is pretty too. So, I would cut it right down the middle here, and I would use both pieces so you don't waste that zip strip at all. Okay, so let's cut 2 5/8. I want this piece here. 2, and remember 5/8 is the medium mark after the half. And cut 4 pieces. Again, make sure you're always checking that you're at the right spot, so you end up with 4 pieces that are the right size. Okay, so I have my 4 inside pieces. Okay, so now we need to get the scoring blade out again, or you need to move over to your scoring board, and we're going to score at 2 7/8. Okay, and basically that is, you're going to be cutting this in half, okay, because this is 5 3/4, so you're going to score at 2 7/8. So I'm going to change out my blade and put my scoring piece back in there. And 2 7/8. So 2 7/8 is this. Let me see. Is this line right here, kind of the medium line right before the 3 inches. Now, it doesn't really matter how you cut this or how you score this. However, I know that on the inside of my card, the inside pieces end up folding outwards, right? So when you score it, if you want to think about that so that the score makes it easier to fold outwards. So I'm actually going to score on the back side of these pieces just to make it easier to fold going that way. Okay, because you see it folds this way much easier. Okay, but it doesn't matter as long as you score it at 2 7/8. I'll put this here. We're scoring at 2 7/8. And you're going to do this with all 8 of your pieces. Now these ones are the outside, and so they are going to be folding back, right? So they are going to be folding this way, so I'm not going to flip it over whenever I score it. But again, I'm doing this at 2 7/8. This is really pretty paper on both sides. I love the floral one, but I really like this one too. I mean, look at that. It's like a watercolor. Things on here. The brush set, this paper pack is only available until July 31st. It was a special for the month. And again, it was because they brought it back. Okay, so now I have these ones scored at 2 7/8. And so now we're going to decorate the panels with the pattern paper. I think we're done with that for right now, the cutter. I'm going to sit, well, maybe not because I won't be able to see. So I'm going to start with the outside pieces first. So here's my base card. And here's the outside pieces. I'm using this Tombow adhesive, but you can use whatever you prefer. And I just am going around the edges. You can put a piece on either side of the score line if you're afraid it might bubble up a little bit. Okay, so this is for the outside, and just center them on the panels. So do that for all 4 pieces. And again, I put a little bit of adhesive in the middle. You want to try and make sure that you are matching up the score line on the pattern piece. Oh, I didn't do a very good job there. Luckily that adhesive is a little bit repositionable. you want to make sure you center the score line from the pattern piece with the score line that's on the base. So I'll do this piece. You can use any adhesive, but I like these rolling dots the best. Line up the scoring marks. Okay, and the last one for the outside. I think the Tombow is pretty smooth whenever you run it. Some of them aren't so much. Okay, so now the outside is decorated. Wait a minute, do you have a question, Michelle, or you want me to slow down? Okay. While we're waiting a minute for Michelle to catch up, I will pop the address to pick if you want to purchase the brush set here in the comments. And I will also pop the link to the Happiest Place set. And then I'll pop a link for the scoring blade. Close to My Heart sells the scoring blades along with the replacement blade for the cutter. You think you did it backwards? It doesn't matter. You can put on whatever one you want, and you could fold it whichever direction. So like if I wanted to, I could make this the inside if I wanted to, right? Or I can make it the outside. It just depends on how you've scored it. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, when I made the first one, I didn't have anything to score it either, and I did. I just, like I said, I used my cutting thing, and then I took my little pokey tool and went down each place to score it. I just had to be really careful that I didn't poke all the way through. And then when I made the envelope to match this, I just marked it with a ruler on the top and the bottom, and then I used the ruler to fold along it because I cut the paper, or the paper needed to be scored on the diagonal, and that would not fit in my cutter. So I just put it on the table and used the ruler, like I said, and just like I went like this and folded it, up against that. So it's still possible to do it if you don't have any of the tools. But okay, so I'm going to move on to the other side and put the adhesive. You can use a glue stick if that's what you have. Okay, before I put this down, I want to make one comment. This is the inside, okay? And what you're going to do is you are going to have to glue this tab to the inside of that last panel, okay? So that it will stick together. So you don't want to put your pattern paper on this last one, the side that's opposite from where the tab is. I would recommend waiting until you glue the whole thing together and then add that. You kind of have to fit it in there, but that way you don't see the glued tab. If you would put the pattern paper on right now and then glue it, the glued tab would, I don't know if I can do it, it would show. You see how you would be able to see this tab. Okay, so I'm going to do these three, and then save this until when I glue it together. Okay, this one's already taped, so. And then I also like to look at which side I like better. Like this one to me is clear. This is the side that should be pointing up because there's not as much going on down here, and I want this to be visible, right? Because this top part are the pieces that are going to be, you know, visible once they open the card up. So I am going to put this piece up on the top, and again, just center it along that panel. And make sure that your score line is lining up with the score line on the base. And then do the other two. And I think I like this side better, so I'm going to put this side up. And I'm going to put this because it has the whole flower here. So center it. Make sure you're centering the score line. Here's the score line. There it is. Okay. So now you have the pattern paper on the outside and on the inside, except for this piece. Yeah, you can just use another piece and don't go with your original idea if you cut it wrong. Okay, so now we are going to close this up and glue it like this. Okay, so you're going to need to put some adhesive on the side that has the outside paper. Okay, and then I might just put a little bit on this side just so it has someplace to adhere to. I'll do it this way so you don't get confused. But okay, so now I'm going to just glue these together and press well. And you can see how, right at this point, it definitely, pops up into a box, but it also, right, can lay flat. Okay, so now I'm going to stick this piece inside. I'm not sure if I can show you, but let's see if I can. You see how you can see the outline of that piece there? I'm going to try and cover that up. Not sure if that was very clear or what. So just put adhesive on this side. Okay, and then you're just going to kind of slide it down in there. And do the best you can lining it up with the score marks on the inside. Okay, and then that way it again is so now you can see it covers up that that tab, so you don't really see that tab. Okay, now I would just spend a minute folding these over to make sure that the score lines are lined up. You can use a bone folder if you want to, but it doesn't have to be You can do that if you feel the need to, but it's kind of nice if it's not as folded down, because then it'll pop up a little bit better. Okay. So now you have the base of the card. Now we just have to work on the inside. So you need a scrap piece that is 3 7/8 this way, because that's how, well, you'll see it'll fit. Remember, this is 2 7/8 here. And then 3 inches this way, because you need 3 separate strips. Now in this card, I don't know if you can tell, maybe from the bottom, I used white paper. I just used spare white paper. But I thought it stood out a little bit. It was a little bit harder to cover. If you saw the card that my mom made, she used the same paper that we used for the inside to try and, mask it, or so that it blended in. So you could do that. I don't know if I have enough of, let's see if I can. I'm just going to use scrap paper. Okay, so I have this white paper. I'm just going to use this. So I'm going to cut it at, remember we need it to be 3 7/8 and then 3 inches. So I'll start off with a 3 7/8. And make sure you have your cutting blade in there. Okay, so I'm going to cut 3 7/8 and then 3 inches. Okay, so 3 7/8 this way and 3 inches this way. And now I'm just going to cut 3 strips, 3 7/8 by 1 inch. So I'm just going to cut this 3-inch piece into 3 separate 1-inch pieces. So I'll cut along the 2, and then I'll cut along the 1. This size actually doesn't really matter. I made it thick enough that it was sturdy, that it could hold my stickers, but it didn't have to be, I could have made it a little bit thinner. So I wanted it heavy enough to be able to hold them, but not too big where it was kind of cumbersome. Okay, and then the last thing you need to do is just score 1/2 inch from each end. Okay, that will make the piece 2 7/8, so it will fit exactly down inside of here. So I'm going to score, and I'm going to put my scoring blade back in, 1/2 inch on each side. So I'm going to put it towards the 1/2 inch over here, and then score, and then flip it and score. So 1/2 inch on each side for all 3 pieces. Okay. So now we're just going to fold these pieces in. Let's see, I'm a little bit off sides here. We're going to fold these pieces in, and I will give them a nice kind of bone folder, or with your fingernail, something. Just so that, because these are going to be what you glue onto the inside of the card. So you need to give it a little bit of a tab. in order to have something to stick to the card. Now, before I glue these on, I would test them, because we found out with my mom's the other day that they were a little bit too wide and kind of pushed it out a little bit. But these seem to be okay. Okay. So now I'm just going to put adhesive on the edges. And what I would do is, I kind of stuck one in the middle. Press a little bit so I can get a good connection. And then I'm going to put one on either side. Okay, so I'll put one here in the front. And stick that to the board. And then the last one. Stick that one back here. You want these to be kind of right up against the top edge here, because otherwise it will be hard to see your stickers unless they're really tall. Okay, so it looks like that. Maybe I'll stick this one back a little bit more. Put a little bit more adhesive since I took it off. I want it to be back just a little bit. Okay, now's the fun part. This all wasn't fun, but now you can just decorate it as you like. Okay, what I'm going to do is take some of the flowers from the sticker sheet, from the brush set, and now I cut them off. I cut them off the sticker sheet, and you leave the backing on, okay? Because if you take it off and you stick it on, the back part is going to be sticky. One way to get around that is you can take the sticker off and then, I should have had my rosin bag, but if you have your I don't have it easily accessible, but if you have the rosin bag, you can stick it on the back of the sticker to take the stickiness away and just leave the bottom part sticky. Okay, I found it. So this is what I'm talking about, one of these little bags. So maybe I'll try that just to show you. It'll make it easier. On this card, you can tell I cut out the sticker and I left the back. This is not sticky. And it also gives it a little bit of heft to it. But I'll try it this way with the rosin bag. Another thing you could do is you can take the stamp set and stamp, onto your paper and then cut that out and use any of these. So if you have a stamp that you like, you can do that too. So let's take this one, especially since it's getting close to being an hour, and I'm going to leave the bottom part sticky, but just kind of put this rosin on it, so now you can see this part is not sticky. And then I will stick it here. I think I will put this butterfly with him. Right, I'm going to put it there. And so I'll kind of de-stickify that piece and put it here. so it looks like the butterfly. Now you want to make sure that it's, you know, sticking up so that you can see it. You don't want to stick it too far down into the thing. I thought this one would be good as kind of towards the back piece. So let's see if that will. Yeah, if I do it this way, I think I'll be able to just use the whole thing. Okay, so I'm going to put it that way. I'll de-stickify the top. And that's enough, I think, for that back part. Okay, you see? And then I need something for the front. I like this blue flower, or this blue butterfly here. So I'm going to put him in the front here, so de-stickify the top. Put it here. Michelle likes my de-stickify word. You have a hard time cutting all the way through? You didn't press hard enough? Well, that's okay. So I need one more set of flowers. I think I will use these here. Let's see. And I'm just gonna de-stickify the top. Again, if you cut these out and leave the backing, which is what I did on the Disney set, you don't have to have this rosin bag. I'm gonna put it here, but I'm gonna take the butterfly off and put him kind of on top. Okay, so now you can see the pretty flowers, the butterflies, and I think I'll put a sentiment on the back here, and I think this sentiment here will fit. Thoughts of you always put a smile on my face. But that's where you could put happy birthday or anything that you want. This will fit, I think, right there. I might have to trim away just a little bit on the edges. Yeah, I'm just going to trim this little bit here. Now on my Disney card, I did put a ribbon around it. I'm not going to go into all of that today, but you can decorate this outside however you want. You could put more stickers on. I was thinking, maybe I'll try it. I was thinking that I could put this sticker sheet, I'm going to try this sticker sheet around. Let's see if I can do it. So this is almost like a ribbon, but actually it's a little bit better than a ribbon because it doesn't add bulk, so it will be easier to go through the mail. So this was, okay, I like this idea. There. And now I will put a sticker to cover that. You can't really tell, but there's a thing there. So let's put this sticker over it, right? I'm gonna put it right there like that. Okay, so now when you close it up, right, it looks like some, right, you can kind of see it. And you could put stickers here and here if you want to. You could put a butterfly or whatever. Oops, this butterfly actually fell off. Let's put him back on there. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Again, I think when you open this up, it's like you're opening up a big bouquet of flowers. I mean, look how pretty that is. And this is a card that somebody could put on their desk, you know, their desk at work, whenever we go back to the office, right? You could put that. It's something that somebody would keep. But again, you can put it through the mail. I will explain how real quickly because we're a little bit, you know, longer than an hour that I wanted to go. But this is 6 inches tall, right? 6 inches tall. You can mail things that are up to 6 1/8 inch tall. So I made a little template. I'll show it so that you can make an envelope at your leisure. So this is my template for the envelope. I will move it up a little bit so you can see maybe a little bit more. So you need to measure 5 5/8 both ways, and 5 5/8 this way, and then score along here. And I have a sample. Okay, so I scored here and I scored here. Okay, and then you need to mark 4 3/8 and 4 3/8 on both sides, and then score along this way. So I did it that way, so then you could fold it. You could fold it this way. And then you just cut out these pieces that are in the center so that it folds nicely. Okay. And I cut off this little piece here at the bottom just so that you didn't have that piece sticking up, but you don't have to do that. Okay, now this envelope is 6 1/8. It will fit this card. And it is legal to send through the mail without extra postage. Now, if it is too bulky or heavy, then there might be extra postage. But if it's not, this is just a regular size envelope because it's only 6 1/8 inch tall. Okay. So, are there any questions? A lot of flowers without the pollen, you're right. And they don't die after, you know, a few days. So it's a pretty bouquet that you can make. I mean, this brush set is beautiful. I actually ordered another pack because I liked it so much. And again, it's going away July 31st, so you have a few days left to order it. Okay, I told you it was easy. Right? That was really easy. Last time, just go to my business page at Crafty Chemist Designs. Please join my Facebook group, The Crafty Chemist Presents Close to My Heart, CTMH. And if you want to purchase any of the items, you can go to thecraftychemist.closetomyheart.com. I did put some of the links for the brush set and for the Happiest Place, the Disney set. So these are the 2 cards with using those 2 sets that we made today. Can I put it on YouTube? Okay, I'll see about figuring out how to do that. Okay, yeah. So I'll try to put this on YouTube. It will be in the group, so you should be able to watch the replay. And I am going to try and put together a blog post about it. But look at that. Look how pretty that card is. I might keep this for myself because I love it so much. Okay, I'm going to try and turn this around. Okay, thanks for joining me. And oh, I'll give you a preview of next week. Next week I plan to do watercoloring. And I should have shown you this, but here's the sample card for next week. We're going to learn how to do watercoloring and use the August stamp of the month, which is that flower and the sentiment. So this is a preview, sneak peek for next week, watercolors. Okay, see you next week. Bye.